Hi, everyone. So, for those of you that don't know, my name is Siera Sambrosky, and I am a intuitive coach. I do all kinds of things, readings to coaching to business consulting. And in particular, one of my sort of areas of specialty is in love and relationships. And so, because of this, we decided collectively that the mini session I would offer is actually a bigger workshop that I already do, and it's part of a series. And it's called Intuitive Dating for Non-Intuitives. And I just want to try and, in a fairly short period of time, touch on some of the topics and some of the ways that we can figure out how to be less in our own heads and more in our gut or our intuition when it comes to dating and choices and knowing whether or not this is actually going somewhere, or are they just looking to get laid, or there's all these things that run through our head. And my guess is most of the people that I work with, certainly what's been true for me and my friends and members of my family, is this idea that it is hard to not be very in your own head and to not overanalyze and to try and decide, is this going somewhere and what does that really mean? And is he or she giving out their number and these sort of lines to everyone they're going out on dates with? And is that a red flag? Is it not a red flag? So we do all these things, and it's all so up here in our head that it seemed to me something that people were really in need of to help trying to make better decisions. And this is married up with the idea that I very core believe everyone has intuitive abilities. And so this is not different for any one of you than it is for me. I don't have a special gift. This is a gift that we all have. I just always equate it to the idea that while all of us can be athletic, some of us have great athletic ability, right? While some people are total numbers, math people, there are others of us that is not our thing, but we can still learn how to add and multiply. So while intuition and being able to be a psychic medium is something that I have, sort of an Olympic athlete dose of, the reality is that every single one of us has this. And so how can you use this in a way to help you be less in your head and make better dating and relationship choices? That's the synopsis. That's what we're going to dig into a little bit and cover as much as we can in these short few minutes. Where to start? So I think the two biggest prongs I'd like to address for you in this video is that one is you have to be super aware of your thoughts, and you have to train yourself to think less, right? I know, seems very hard to do, but I promise it is something that can be done, and it will be helpful. And when we quiet this up here, it only helps to heighten and make it easier to clearly hear and identify then what is coming from out here, this more divine, intuitive way. It also helps us to be less focused on the thoughts, the monkey brain monkey mind that runs through and just overtakes everything, and to pay more attention to what is happening physically in our body and what's going on in our gut. What is it that we can hear in our gut? about that doesn't feel right. There's, he looks like the perfect package and he says all the right things, but there's something not right here. When we shut this down and we learn to quiet that and to get out of it so much, and we hear that going on out, hear it from out here, or we get it in our gut in here, it makes it easier to be able to act on that. And that stuff cannot be done. You won't take action on what you are getting that is intuitive or is from your gut if you don't have trust in your higher self or in the ability to be able to gain that information for yourself. If you can't learn to be confident and trust in the information that you are receiving, that you are getting in your gut, then that makes all this a moot point also, right? So, couple things. And I always tell people, sure, meditate, right? Because I know you were expecting that. You were expecting that one of the things I was going to say is if you meditate, it helps to quiet this and gain trust and you'll get things more clearly. It's so super true. So let me just quickly throw out to you, in case you're not meditating, in case you find it daunting, you actually hate it, or it's just super intimidating and you can't even try it, know that it can be done in 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes, just 3 minutes will help you better than no minutes, right? And also don't get caught up in the idea that it has to be sitting in silence, cross-legged. For some of us, it's literally just being able to listen to music mindfully, close your eyes and listen to the words of the songs, right? If thoughts come through, it's okay. They're supposed to, they're going to, but just let them go. Don't dwell on them. Don't try and banish them from your brain. Like, just, okay, now move on. For me personally, I get into a meditative state always when I'm walking, doing the dishes and vacuuming, taking showers. Those are my big ways. So know that anytime you kind of zone out and go into your own space, all of those times are opportunities for you to really actually have an awareness around the idea that you're meditating. So there's that. Let's not try and spend too much time because there's other things you'd rather know. So the reality is that being able to recognize that you are being in your own head is the key first step. So it is about you starting to gain some awareness for yourself and understanding that we are in our own brain. I am running away with thoughts. I need to just stop. It's literally when you become aware, you can shift away from it. And maybe you only shift away from it for 15 seconds. That's fine. But if that's the case, then you just have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it until you can actually put it aside. It's all just practice. So the other thing that you need to really glean is that what are those thoughts? If you're a journaler, one of the best things you can do is get it out. Get it out, write it down. If you're not a journaler, speak it into the recording thing, and you can delete it then. You don't have to save it, but get it out of your head in some form or fashion, and then see whatever it is that you are saying. What is it that is stuck in your head and keeps rolling around and remilling around and remilling around? Is it something of fear? Is it something that is coming from an old wound? Are you just being triggered by something? Are you being tricked into thinking that because you've always had these past experiences, that's what this experience is? That's what the next experience is also going to bring you? These are the kinds of things, this is the language, this is the stuff that you need to be looking for, because those things are not intuition. They're not. Those things are your ego mind, your fear, whatever you want to call it, running ransack in your brain and likely sabotaging something that could have actual potential. So it's about getting it out of your brain, recognizing that you're doing it, getting it out of your brain, and then examine it. Take a look at it. What is it saying? One of the things that I always work with people when they're developing their intuition is I say, be careful, look clearly about what is it that it is actually saying to you. Is it using words like that are critical and judgmental, right? Is it disparaging of you or someone else? Is it harsh? Is it angry? Is it sad? Because all of those things are not spirit talking to you. That's not intuition. That's not your spirit guides or your angels or whatever you believe in. They don't talk like that. They're not sad. They're not angry. They're not judgmental or critical or disparaging. So if any of the stuff that's running through your head and one of the things that you're hoping to glean is, how do I know if it's intuition or not? Is it talking like that? Is it saying any of those things? Okay. So even if you're not thinking, even if you know full damn well that that is not intuition, but you're like, okay, so this is not rational thought. This is me being triggered. This is my fear. This is me running through a current experience, a present experience in a way that I am filtering it based on past experiences. So you get the thoughts out, you realize this, that's what it is. Now what, right? Now what? Okay, so dig into it. Dig into it. Is it really based on anything, or do you have to just let it go? And if you do have to let it go, then if you journal this out, draw a line through it. There's something really powerful and something that really helps to shift and clear out these energies, these thoughts, these beliefs that really truly are keeping you from finding love. If it's not something that you can literally cross out, then delete it. Or if you captured it on audio, but you can do something by writing that down then and rip it up and throw it away. Any one of these kinds of little tasks can help you to get rid of that and move that on, right? So then the next part about dating and using your intuitive skills to date better, to find better relationships and do better with love choices, right, is learning how to trust this. And so again, we've focused on how do we clear our brain out? How do we get that stuff out of our brain? So once you've done that, it will make it easier to figure out, when I am around this person, don't reflect and review, because that's all up here and that's just going to cause problems. So the only thing you can do is that in the next exchange, and texting doesn't count. Texting will always be misconstrued. It'll always be full of miscommunication. It's way too hard. So are your red flags, are the things you're questioning, are they happening in person or text? That's another really good, important part of this to be asking yourself. But the next time you are in person or talking on the phone, check in. When you realize that you're having these thoughts, because now you're not at home, so you can't dump this, right? But you're starting, where is it that you're feeling something's wrong? Where is it? Is it in your head? Is it in your gut? Probably not that obvious. So do you find that you're holding your breath? Do you find that it's, giving you a little twinge right in here? Is it making your heart race? Is it giving you a more expanded, opening feeling? Or is it giving you a more clenched up, is it making you feel more contracted? So this is one of the things, this is a way that our intuition does speak to us. It speaks to us when we can't gain an awareness, a conscious awareness of it yet and get the messages that we're getting for ourselves. It starts to speak to us through our bodies, through the way that we are feeling. So are you starting to feel nervous in a way that is fearful? Or are you starting to feel nervous in a way that's excited? Get present. Get really present and help to identify whether or not this is the way of your body giving you a message. Be present and really honestly take a look at what is it saying to me right now? Because this is a form of intuition. So then the next stage is after you've, gotten comfortable with those things, it's about, again, when you start to have these thoughts come through, and as long as they're not like disparaging or negative or, doing one of these criticizing, judgmental things of you or the other person, then you have to start to build a trust with that. You have to start to believe that you can trust it, that it is speaking to you, it is accurate, it does have your highest and best interest. And how do we do that? We start to shift it, not just from, don't be so hyper focused on only trying to gain intuition in your dating love life, because you're going to start to gain that experience and build that trust in all areas of your life. And you want it in all areas of your life. And the more you can allow it from an area that you're not feeling so much pressure to try and get it right, the easier it'll be to help build that trust. And then it'll make it easier in this area or another area that you really want to be accurate and right about. And so one of the simple things that I always say to people after we kind of start to get comfortable and practice this idea of building up what's happening to my body right now, because that's the first step of it. The next step of it is starting to really become aware of what are your actual preferences. Seems silly, seems like it doesn't have anything to do with intuition, but it does, because we all intrinsically have this ability. And so when you get in touch and can really start to hear your true self and your preferences, that's when you are able to start trusting in this guidance, in this gut that you are getting about a situation, a person, or thing, right? So focus on being able to be really present about your preferences. You know what? I always order this, but I actually don't like it. I actually just think that this is the right choice because it's healthier or better. Just start to have those thoughts. That's honest. That's building trust and truth in yourself, because that's where your intuition is, in yourself. I think this is a great start. I think it's something that I'm happy to be able to dig in and share with any one of you. So if you'd like to direct message me, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook at Siera, 1R, Intuitively Knows. And I'm happy to answer your questions. And if you're interested in being able to take this in a full length, I'm happy to offer that as well. Thanks, everyone.